do you want me?
Just right here if you could.
Okay.
Am I going to be too tall for this?
Yeah, jump up for just a second. I'm going to just alter your chair a little bit.
Oh,
Try that.
well, let's see.
Is that all right for you?
I'm ready.
All right. Let me just swing.
No, I don't know when I'm ready because, I don't think I'm dumb, but I'm really ignorant.
Yeah. All right, Grandpa. Well, the reason why I wanted to set this project up is you mean so much to our family. I wanted to have something that our kids can have to get to know you, but selfishly, there still are a few things that I don't fully know about kind of your story and where you came from. So, starting at the beginning, can you please tell us, who you are and where you were born?
Oh, I was a little stinker. I'm born in 1926, and my mama liked me. My mama, she took care of me so good, and my daddy, he was an immigrant from Sweden, and they had service times. You had to join the army, and he didn't like that. So he went AWOL and came over to Duluth and immigrated in Duluth instead of Ellis Island. And he was a nice boy. And he always said when I went to school, "Don't you ever learn how to speak Swedish?" Nah, no. I had to learn German, but that didn't do me any good.
Did you have any brothers and sisters?
I had one brother, and my mama liked him better because he played the violin, and he was really a good violinist, and the people at the orchestra said, if you keep this up, you can be a violin masterpiece, and you can play all over the world. But he didn't do that. He got scared and thought that he would be drafted, so he signed up for the Air Force, and they sent him to school for 2 years. Oh, my brother, he was a nice boy, but he didn't like to play hockey. And I always played hockey. And he was a speed skater, and he was a roller skater. So, and he was 4 years older, and if I was snotty, I'd blink and he hit me in the nose and it would bleed. And finally we had a little tussle, and I was gonna really cream him. And I said, "No, I can't cream you because you're my brother." And then he said, "I don't think we should fight anymore."
So, take me back to the 1930s. What was it like growing up in the 30s?
Oh, I was born in 1926, and everybody was dirt poor. And we were really, really lucky because my mama came from Dassel and Lake Washington, and they had a farm there. And we'd always get brand new eggs. They would harvest the hogs, and we had really, really good meat. And we never went hungry because all the kids in Minneapolis, they were on food shelves, and they had really sticky food, but no way did I ever. We ate good, and I think my mama liked me, and my daddy liked me too, and he was a big guy. He wanted to be American, And he said, we're not going to speak Swedish unless I write to Sweden and see my mama. We didn't speak Swedish at home. We had to speak American, and he liked being an American. Grade school, I went to Longfellow School, and Miss Luchin taught me how to take naps. They were good people, and they let me play softball, and we played table tennis. I wanted to be a tool and die maker and go to school and be a tool and die maker, because you could work 24/7 and you'd make a lot of money. And then I thought, well, I'll go be a tool and die maker, and then I'll earn enough money so I can go to school. And but that got waylaid a little bit, because when I was senior in high school, they made me take a test, and the dean of boys, I was cheating. I was going to go across the street and get an ice cream cone, and he said, "Oh, you're going to the test, aren't you?" "Well, of course I am." And there was a test to get educated by the government, and you know, I passed that dumb thing. And I wasn't a good student, because when I was in high school, I was flunking, and they sent me to dum-dum school. And I took extra courses, or because I was bored silly. And then, sure enough, the government said, well, you can go to V12, and we'll pay for your school. And you know what they did? They sent me to Villanova, and that little school was a Catholic monastery. And when I looked in the library to see what kind of a school it was, oh, that was co-ed. But when I got there, the co-eds were nuns, and they were so nice to me. And oh, I took German there. Father Gavigan, he didn't teach us German at all. He was teaching us religion. And he said, you know, boys, the only true religion is the one you believe in. And Father Gavigan, he was a smart guy. He was a nice man. And he was one of my favorites. So I went to a year and a half of Villanova, and during the war, I was an apprentice seaman, and I had a little hat and a little trouser with 13 buttons, and that was nice. You had to go to bed at 10:30, and the lights were out, and if you cheated, oh, they gave you demerits, and they were not nice to you. And then you woke up 20 after 6, they rally your bed, you had 10 minutes to go out and pee, and then we went out and did big exercises, and we jump up and down, and then we ran a mile every day except Sunday. And then a year and a half later, the war ended. They said, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to be an astrophysicist. So you can't do that because you never paid any attention to math, and they'll kill you. But you can completed pre-med. Do you want to be a doctor? Well, yeah, that's okay. And so they said, you can go to any school on the East Coast where we have influence. I said, okay. How about Harvard? How about Johns Hopkins? You're in, no problem. So I went home, and I couldn't afford the the bus fare out to those fancy schools, so I applied to Minnesota, and they said, "Oh, we'd love to have you, but you're too young. You take a year off," and so I did. When it came times to go to medical school, oh, no problem, you're in. So I went to medical school, and they were nice to me. And I was the youngest one in medical school. I was just a little stinker, but I went to school, and I passed. I became a little doctor. Then they said you got to take an internship. Oh, 4 of us applied to the Naval Hospital in Oakland. That place is still there, I think, isn't it? And we were and all the doctors they sent them to Korea. Oh goodness, my first clerkship was autopsy. Oh, that was sticky. And I got through there, so that was just fine.
I know you were in high school and too young for World War II. Did you know anybody that served in the war?
Oh yeah, my classmates, you know, when they blasted all the warships in Hawaii, and all the boys in my class, they just couldn't wait to enlist in the Navy. And pretty soon, I was just a senior, and pretty soon these guys came back dead. They would been to Saipan, and they got all shot up. And I said, "Whoa, that's not for me. I'm a born chicken. I don't want to end up dead." But my classmates in high school, they came back dead. That wasn't good. So here I am.
So from the medical practice that you went to Villanova with and then Oakland with, how did that take you kind of do your travels abroad?
Well, you know, I came back and went to medical school, and then I enlisted to take a Navy internship at Oakland Naval Hospital, and they were nice to me, very nice to me. Then I came back and took a fellowship in pediatrics at Michigan, and I stayed there, and I didn't want to be a pediatrician because I didn't like to see these little squirts die. So then they had the doctor draft, and they said, "I'm going to send you to Carmel or no, Monterey." And that was the Monterey was a school there for young flyer commanders that never went to Annapolis. So they thought I was a pediatrician, but that's okay. I had a good time. Then I had to leave. I went home, and I come back, and they said, "We just assigned you to the Fleet Marines." Okay. It says you're the only one that's not married, so you go to Camp Pendleton and live in Tent Camp 3. And I said, okay. And I thought I would have a nice apartment, and they said, "Well, you ain't doing anything. why don't you join the Fleet Marine people? I said, okay. And so she sent me to Hawaii. So it was sort of an experimental thing. And I went to Hawaii and learned how to be a little Fleet Marine or little Marine or Navy doctors, because the Marines did not have any doctors. We just had corpsmen. And then I came back and took 10th Camp 3. They said, we're going to Japan. I got on a boat, and my little sweetie pie Neats, and she was on the dock waving goodbye to me, because I don't know how long you're going to be over there. So I went over to Japan right after Iwo Jima, and then I enjoyed Japan, and the Japan people were so nice to me. They thought I was an ossifer, so they treated me really, really, really good. And then they said, you ain't doing anything. You go over to Iwo Jima and learn about atomic warfare. Well, I don't know anything about atomic warfare. I'm a non-combatant. So I stayed at Iwo Jima, and that was the Naval War College for Japan. And then I came back, and I got aseptic meningitis, and they put me in the hospital. After 2 weeks, they discharged me, and a friend of mine said, don't you want to go skiing with the Far East ski team? Oh, sure. So I went and practiced at the Japanese Alps. You know about them. And I went to the Honshu, I think it was, and we were going to have competition, and they moved the toll, so we had to walk up once a day, take a run, come back and have lunch, then you could do another one. And I was so bad, I was just barely lucky able to get down the course. So I did that.
Was that some of the first times you ever went skiing?
Oh, no. You know, I did a lot of skiing. Over the years, I skied in Europe, Austria, Switzerland, Japan, and all the places on the West Coast we skied. And I was a lucky boy, and that was okay.
So you brought up your sweetheart Neats waving goodbye to you when you were leaving Hawaii. Tell us the story about how you met her.
No, Neats lived in Wisconsin Rapids. Her daddy had worked in Minneapolis on the railroad, and Neats took a course near my house to be a business major. And my mama had a room for her, so she stayed for maybe a month, and we got to know each other. And she said, why don't you come in to Wisconsin Rapids, and you'll like my daddy. Oh, he was so nice. He took me fishing to his secret spots, and that was nice. And that's sort of where I got to meet Nietzsche. And as I said, Nietzsche said, oh, it would be really nice if you came and visited and meet my folks. So I did. And she was a sweetie pie. And her mama and dada liked me. and her mama Ida, she would always make beef pot roast just for me because, you know, these boys, they fall in love. And the best place to love is to feed them. So I ate over there all the time. So we finally got together and we fell in love. And Nate said, I think if we get married, the only reason to get married is have babies. We had babies. We had lots of babies. And when she got pregnant, her feet itched like crazy. And I'd rub her feet. And finally, her obstetrician says, Nietzsche, you gotta quit. I can't stand your pregnancies anymore. So we quit. We only, let's see, we had 4 little stinkers, little Petey, little Stevie, and little Susie. And finally there was a Whoopsie, little Jimmy. And we built this house over on Dutch Lake. I would never hear the boys when they woke up and have their bottle, because they always wiggled. But then Susie was my sweetie pie. I would hear her every night, and she would cuddle up, and I'd feed her the bottle, and then she'd fall asleep, and I'd put her to bed and cover her up, and she'd sleep till morning.
So it sounds like you and Neats had a great relationship. What was the first time you guys both met?
Where did we first meet? When she came over to go to business school. She said, come and visit me in Wisconsin Rapids. And that was a stinky town because they had these pulp things, and they made paper there, and they used sulfur, and if the wind wasn't right, oh, that place stunk. I enjoyed going over to see Neats, and her daddy liked me, and her mama Ida liked me. So sure enough, we got married.
So if that was the late 1940s, what did you and Neats do for fun back then?
We did everything together. And that was my excuse to show the boys what we can do. Oh, yeah, I broke a leg at Vail, and that wasn't too good. And so a year later, I was elected to go with a bunch of professors to Europe and ski. So we went to Switzerland, Austria, France, and the only one I didn't like was France, because the French people didn't like the Germans, and they were, don't you dare speak German because the French, they'll bonk you. So anyway, we skied Switzerland, Austria, all the good places.
What were ski resorts like way back in the 40s and 50s?
Oh, at the ski of Mount Baldy, that's where we took our honeymoon. And they had one chairlift. Oh, it was so cold. They'd wrap you up with a blanket, and when you got to the top, they'd help you off of that and take the blanket off you. That was only one toe. Now they got 9 toes. So that was really nice. I'm such a lucky boy. So many good things have happened to me. And so here I am, 95 years old, and Nietzsche left me 5 years ago, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to miss this place, because this is, this is where all the little people grew up, and now I hope the little people will remember me. So I sent a little picture of all my paintings to each of the grandkids, and when I'm gone, these pictures will be up in your houses, and these little stickers that said, who did it? Oh, that was Grandpa. You don't remember him, but he loved you, and he still loves you. Okay?
This house has meant a lot to the Carlson family over the years. What was it like living on the lake with the family?
Oh, this was so nice. We built this house because it was on the lake, and my best friend, Barney, he said, this is the place you should do. And then I said, we need to build this house. And one of my classmates, Gene Green, he's an architect. He says, you tell me what you want. This house is already designed for you. It's way ahead of its time because it got vaulted ceilings, and the roof, we could put a pitch and gravel roof, and you won't have to put shingles on this thing. So this was such a nice place, and we could swim, and there was more things to do on this thing. And Nietzsche said, you know, you really got a junky boat. Why don't we get a nice boat for the kids? And we did. This boy had this, because he was going to get married and he needed a little money. In the next month, he said, can you buy my boat back again? Because I just got divorced. Now I don't have a wife and I don't have a boat. So we had a nice boat here, and that little boat would go 60 miles an hour. I remember once we got the rope twisted up and we almost took your head off. And you survived. I said, oh, I'm so sorry, but you survived.
This was the Jolly Roger?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. That's right. You remember that. So, life has been good for me. And I have so many blessings. And I'm going to do fine because I want to have, my goal is to live 2 or 3 years more. And then I'll be 98.
So I know you and Ken, started up Carumba together.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the story of how you first got introduced to Vail and how you guys got your place there?
Coming back from Aspen with John Fredine, and that was the day, 1962, when Vail opened up. We stopped there, and you could take one ride up for $1 up to gondola and chairlift. What was it? 4? Yeah, up to Midvale. And I took a ride down where Midvale starts. They used to have a little stream there, and I crashed in that little stream, and I said, this is the place for me. And I got on the phone and I said, Ken, you're coming out next week with Lutheran Brotherhood. You buy something. So we bought the lot on on the road for $3,000. Oh, Gordy Batdorf wanted to be part of this too. So the three of us had a house, so we called it Carumba, Carlson, Romnus, and Batdorf. That name became famous in Vail.
Vale and Carumba have been a big part of our family as we've grown up over the years.
Yes.
And the Solaroops are legendary.
Yes.
How did that come about?
There was a doctor who worked in St. Paul, and they would hunt and fish and before they would go out and chase ducks, they'd have a little thing when they got back, and they'd say Solarook, then call the dog, and then we'll have some breakfast, and then we'll drink some brandy too. So that's true.
One of the reasons why I love being around you so much is because of how curious you are about things.
Yeah.
Where did your curiosity start?
Should I tell you my dream? Be curious. You have to learn. Don't ever forget learning. The second one is be caring. And the third one is learn the art of listening. Don't try to tell somebody how to do things. Listen to them. You will learn from them if they're better than you. Don't try to outdo anybody. Learn all the time. I still do. And I'm getting kind of old.
If you were 25 years old right now, what would be the first thing that you do?
I'd hope at 25, I'd hope I'd get a chance to meet Nietzsche, because she was just 24 years old. When I married her, I had to wait till I was a silly boy, 28. So if I could have known her a little bit earlier, oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Grandpa, you're a very special person to all of us. You're the glue for our family. We appreciate you sharing some of your stories so we can continue to pass those on to our own kids and keep those stories with us in Banff, on the lake, and with our family. So we love you so much, and thank you so much for sharing some of your story today.
Thank you.
Did you ever do a solo root for us?
Oh, yeah.
There you go, Grandpa.
Oh, that's so good. Okay,
Are you gonna hold it?
yeah. Oh, we gotta hold it right. Oh, yeah. So, Rook, then Clar the dog. Han and Hilster with Wiggins Han. Let's see. What's it?
Whoop the American.
Oh, whoops, American. Awesome and school. So good. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Is there anything I'm not gonna stop yet. Is there anything that you want to say that he didn't ask you? Is there any stories or memories or anything else that's
I hope they remember me. I hope I can be remembered as a little role model. Because how many old pots like me can have such a fantastic journey? Yeah, the good Lord has been good to me. And thank you. Okay.
feel a change in the weather, I feel a change in me. The days are getting shorter and the birds begin to leave. Even me, yes, yes, y'all, who's been so long alone. I'm headed home, headed home. The nights are getting colder now, and the air is getting crisp. I first tasted the universe on a night like this. A box of wine, an alibi, and the hunger in her eyes. In the place where the tree of good and evil still resides. Still resides. Homecoming. Homecoming, homecoming. She said, show me what you got, babe. I'm not like other girls. Just give me your bad self in a place for us to make a stand, and I can move the world. Lift the valley from the floor, honey. Little town to the sky. They'll say that it's a miracle, and you'll know damn well they're right. Damn well they're right. Homecoming. Homecoming, homecoming. Homecoming. Homecoming, homecoming. When the oracle spoke to me, she was like a roadside song. Go away. Do unto others as you would have them do, even if in turn they do you wrong. This town right here's my everything, and though I've been torn away, it has my heart, it has my heart. Be still my heart will stay, my heart will stay, my heart will stay, my heart will stay.